Why hedgehogs make great pets. There's a multitude of reasons why anyone could want a pet, period. Maybe you just moved into an apartment by yourself and need a companion. Maybe you need a small pet to prove your responsibility to get a larger pet to your parents. Either way, it doesn't matter why you want a pet, because the difficult part is always deciding which kind of pet. Most everyone has at some point probably been to a pet store and decided and spent at least an hour looking at all the different kinds of animals there are, trying to pick your favorite. Well, let me tell you firsthand, from my experience, that hedgehogs make phenomenal first pets and are great pets overall. First, let me say, I own 2 hedgehogs myself, named George and Jorge respectively. They are both African pygmy hedgehogs, which are the most common types of pet hedgehogs to own. One is very young, and one is very old and fat. However, no matter what age or condition you get your hedgehog in, they're still very lovable, the same to care for, nonetheless. Before we talk about caring for a hedgehog, we should discuss why you should decide to get a hedgehog and pick a hedgehog in the first place. Overall, hedgehogs are incredibly simple. Hedgehogs don't make a lot of noise, like a dog barking throughout the night, and they don't create chaos like a cat might, knocking TVs and glasses over. Then they don't create storms of stinking dust like a chinchilla would, because they don't have dust baths. Or don't use them, at least. Not to mention, the small space required for them makes them ideal for small abodes, such as apartments or college dormitories. Hedgehogs generally are incredibly adaptable and generally able to live in most conditions, such as the hot and humid south or the cold and dry north. Finally, they are very lovable creatures, and you can interact and play with them a great deal, which makes them step up from a frog, fish, or a lizard, which you only really look at in its tank. But okay, you have your hedgehog, so what next? How do you care for them? Once again, they are very simple animals, and it's not a complicated process. First, you need to get a cage or a tub of the appropriate size, which can vary based on age and other factors. It should be noted that you should avoid wire mesh cages, since a hedgehog can hurt itself should it try and climb it, which hedgehogs like to climb a lot. Then you want to get your new prickly friend some bedding. Although you must specifically get aspen wood shavings, because any other kind have dangerous chemicals within which can give skin problems to your hedgehog. After that, all you need to add is a wheel, water dish, and food dish in the cage. For new hedgehogs, it is generally a good idea to keep an old, unwashed shirt draped over the hedgehog cage. It's generally a good idea to keep an old, unwashed shirt draped over the hedgehog cage so it can get used to your smell. Finally, after giving your hedgehog a few days to adjust, all you must do from there is interact with it on a daily basis. Run across your room, hold it in your hands, and you can even pet it if you're careful enough and stroke it with the flows of spines. They're very friendly once you handle them enough. I must reiterate, you need to handle your hedgehog. Otherwise, he can be awfully aggressive, poking you with spines and even biting, in the case of my grandma. After that, all you need to do is take him out and play with them very frequently, and clean the cage about once per week. Don't forget, hedgehogs like to burrow, so it is generally a good idea to put in more bedding than less. Just be careful though. They often go to the bathroom very frequently, so it's a good idea to keep cleaning supplies nearby if you have them out. Unfortunately, it should be noted that hedgehogs can live for up to 10 years, so it isn't a meager investment. You need to think of the long term, because that's how I even got my second hedgehog, Jorge. My brother technically owned him first, but my brother left to go to college, and the college he was going to didn't allow any pets in his dormitory. Luckily, I was already taking care of a hedgehog, so I just merely inherited it. Had I not been there, it could have been a very unhappy future for George. So before you go out into the world, ask yourself, do I really want a hedgehog who will be a fun and lovable companion for years to come, but also needs his own proper dedicated care? Or do I just want him for a week before he becomes too much to handle? Because unfortunately, too often our pets impulse spot before being left on the side of the road. They can't survive in the wild, because they're supposed to be cared for.